You've been at this for weeks now. Stop. Chill. Okay? No, it's all good. Just don't apologize. But the last time I said no to this, you just kept repeating it. Okay? If you spam something over and over again and I see it and I don't respond to it, just know that, like, you know, I'm probably not gonna watch it. It's probably not. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, you don't have to apologize that much. Now I feel bad. I'm sorry.
The price of which Trump's biggest regional friend, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, says is a Palestinian state.
Maybe there is an opportunity with Saudi Arabia for us. And that is why we're closely coordinating with Saudi Arabia.
The Palestinian Authority's former prime minister believes it's Trump's friends who'll triumph in influencing the Israeli government, not Huckabee's.
This man is not the one who will be dictating the shots. He's a player. He's an important player. But he is not the player. He is not the president.
By the time Huckabee arrives, more land, like Farmer Halid's, will have been seized.
You haven't spoken much on Huckabee yet? No, when the first initial pick came out, I did. But there's no reason to cover him any further than I have already. He's a fucking rabid evangelical Zionist. He is an ultra. Okay?
What will the future hold, he says? It's a question everyone here is asking.
It's kind of fucked up how the people who pay you money could just be ignored, but instead of doing that, you single them out to be a dick for no reason. It's because I'm constantly looking at chat, and I'm constantly looking at chat for feedback, constantly offering feedback to chat. It is a very important part of this broadcast that, you know, people have the capacity to chat. So when someone is like, dude, this person themselves like apologized for spamming and you're still defending it. And I apologize for being aggressive. Okay. When someone is like, when someone is the same link over and over again, like, I think it's more valid for me to say, look, I'm going to treat you like a human being. Please stop sending this link. I'm not going to look at it. Okay. And even then I still feel as though I was a little overboard, especially with Rachel's reaction, that I immediately apologized for my reaction. Now you are trying to fucking derail the broadcast to talk about your own personal grievances. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, calm down, Spider Teats. Subscribing to me does not make me treat you any differently, okay? I treat every chatter equally. That's it. What is this expectation that you're going to be above those who don't have the financial circumstances to be able to fucking subscribe just because you're giving me $5 a month? I'm new. It's on me. It's not HasanAbi's fault. I'm super new. No, it's all good. Rachel is fine. Not going to lie. You made us sit through 2 hours of Asmongold's Hitlerite ramblings and then suddenly 30 minutes of an economics video is too much. Yes, because once again, I'm the streamer and you are the chatter. You don't know what content is. If you did, you wouldn't be in the chat chatting. You would be streaming and having your own community yell at you for directing the stream in whichever ways you wish you want to direct it. Okay? And now we're doing one of the stupidest things of all time, which is arguing with chatters on something that is so fucking stupid and so goddamn irrelevant. Okay? Yes, I say this all the time. Sometimes chatters get in their own way. And they demand, and this person is not even doing that, by the way. So it's crazy that the person that I talked to, both parties have moved on from this. But now chatters are not moving on because they want to have a conversation about the mistreatment of chatters. Okay? All right, I'm going to start banning people. Here, take a week off. Anyway, how stupid. We're moving on to Ukraine's drone war with Russia steps up as they wait for Trump.
Sweeping the skies as the cold and dark close in. All along the Black Sea coast, every night, small units.
I think one of the funniest parts about this, the last point I'm going to make is this. This is a leftist community. And one of the things that we shit on all the time is the fact that, like, people in the service industry do not have the same opportunity that I have where I could just, like, ban someone. You know what I mean? People in the service sector would have an infinitely better time if they could just, like, with one click, say bye-bye to a rude customer. Okay? Could you imagine you're working at Forever 21 and then some guy comes in and starts chirping at you and is like, I don't like the way that you are folding the clothes. Fold the clothes better. And you just go click, and you cause them to perish immediately from your sight for a week at least, if you want to. It would make the situation infinitely better. And some consumers of this content don't understand that they're kind of doing that in a similar way. And I am, of course, not comparing myself to the tumultuous nature of like the service sector or the shitty not paying jobs that people have to take on in order to pay off their student loan debt relief. I'm a very well-paid babysitter, okay? Endlessly privileged. But if you come in here and you chirp at me like a bad customer, I do have and will always exercise the right to ban you, you know?
Units of Ukrainian soldiers are searching for Russian drones. Drones that drop explosives and reconnaissance drones that map Ukrainian radar and pave the way for missiles. Most they shoot down, but not all. This morning, drones wrecked this housing complex in Odessa before the Russians launched a missile. An old-age pensioners' community centre took a direct hit. It's the 4th time the area has been struck. But can you ever get used to this?
Иди полежи, я тут на цветушки. Ну да полежи, когда во всей квартире стекла. Ну я буду сейчас собирать стекла тебе. Сейчас муж приедет. Вот тоже убирать. Может, 4-й раз, ну сколько же можно? Сейчас на тебе, сейчас все раскурочилось. Мало того, тут стенки повредились. Вылетело вон весь. Ой. На балконе полстенки отвалилось. Там в большой комнате тоже под подоконником отвалило.
Nearly 3 years into the war, everyone knows the drill. The experts who find missile fragments to work out which kind of rocket it was. The psychologists helping people like Eva Pohodina, whose late father used to live here, and for whom these aren't just concrete apartment blocks, but a cradle of memory.
Тому я побігла побачити, чи ніхто не помер і чи стоїть батьківський дім. Бо в нього вже декілька разів то там поряд прилітало.
So this was another seemingly random missile attack on a civilian part of Odessa. It came in just before 10 o'clock this morning. We heard it from where we were in another part of the city. The aim? To terrify Ukrainians into wanting an end to this war, whatever the cost, even surrender. Hannah Shelest's Odessa apartment was destroyed by a drone last week.
We are in the historical downtown, which is under the UNESCO protection, so not just historical downtown, but UNESCO protection. And still Iranian-Russian drones are here just in the downtown shooting plenty of residential areas.
As a military analyst, she's thinking about whether Ukraine might exchange land for peace in negotiations expected after President Trump takes office in January.
People ready for negotiations, but not for surrender. And that is the very thin line in this, which is very important.
But you say they're ready for... That means a territorial compromise, doesn't it?
No, because, negotiations can be from the different positions. And why we should, if we compromise the territories, it means we would reward Putin.
Beyond Odessa's famous Potemkin steps, a ship comes into port, ready to load up with grain.
Oh, yeah, it is interesting. This is the same woman that was covering Lebanon. Oh my God. I just realized, holy shit, the market tonal shift in this. Like, this is accurate reporting that centers the humanity of the victims. Her coverage on Lebanon was literally, oh my God. Her coverage on Lebanon was just like basically saying that they're, Hezbollah's presence is the reason why these innocents are asking for it. Is kind of crazy. Like, can you imagine her being like, well, the Ukrainian forces have routinely fought against the Russians that have a valid security interest in the region. And that is precisely why they're attacking certain points filled to the brim with civilians. They claim the Russian claim for why they must bomb the orphanage is because they're interested in the underlying Azov battalion groupings amongst the Ukrainian insurgency. Like that's how you would cover it if you were covering it like you're covering Lebanon. And it's really interesting because this is the correct way to cover this story. This is the correct way to cover this atrocity by centering the human civilian victims in the process. And yet her analysis on Lebanon was quite different.
Navigation is one of Ukraine's military achievements. They've forced back the Russian Black Sea Fleet. But on land, day by day, Russia is advancing. 3D printing to make components for drones and grenades at one of 34 centres founded by Odessa's most prominent MP. Drones are the big thing. Are any of this...
Drones are very big story and very big part of the war right now, so they need such things which they should be light, but at the same they put inside explosives so they can drop from the drones.
Honcharenko has organised shifts of volunteers making camouflage netting for the soldiers. He's a professional optimist, even in the face of battlefield losses and the prospect of Donald Trump forcing negotiations.
Many people here in Ukraine, including me, we have hopes. Because for the first source of hope is the fact that he said that he will drop the oil prices. He said, I will drill. And he will do this not for Ukraine, but for United States. But we will benefit from this because of Russia. Because the main source of Russian war chest is price on oil. So if he will really do this, and if the oil price will drop significantly, this will have devastating effect on Russia. It will be more than nukes and any experimental ballistic missiles.
Well, maybe.
My biggest problem with the President Trump that he's unpredictable and he can change his mind during one day. That's the problem during the war, because during the war you need planning. You need to understand on whom you can rely.
If Donald Trump was here today, what would you say to him?
I would say to Donald Trump that Ukraine can be a very strong ally. You can't lose a ally like this. This is a very good deal for United States to do.
Ukraine has survived despite...
Also, I mean, here, for the record, if you guys like legitimately think that Donald Trump is going to change the trajectory too dramatically, here's his pick. New counterterrorism advisor Sebastian Gorka.
I'll give one tip away that the president has mentioned. He will say to that murderous former KGB colonel, that thug who runs the Russian Federation, you will negotiate now, or the aid that we have given to Ukraine thus far will look like peanuts. That's how he will force those gentlemen to come to an arrangement that stops the bloodshed.
The alpha males are back. The Vitesse Rend is back.
Ukraine is still standing. This war is about money. People don't talk much about it, but you know the richest country in all of Europe for rare earth minerals is Ukraine. $2 to $7 trillion worth of minerals that are rare earth minerals, very relevant to the 21st century. Ukraine's ready to do a deal with us, not the Russians. So it's in our interest to make sure that Russia...
Lindsey Graham is so funny because he just like always openly reveals he is so, I don't know why. It's crazy that he just spills every time.
Take over the place. It's the breadbasket of really the developing world. 50% of all the food going to Africa comes out of Ukraine. We can make money and have an economic relationship with Ukraine that'd be very beneficial to us with peace. So Donald Trump's going to do a deal to get our money back, to enrich ourselves with rare earth minerals, a good deal for Ukraine and us, and he's going to bring peace. And Biden's been a disaster when it comes to containing bad guys.
Chuck Dies, thank you for the 25 good to subs. Interesting. Lindsey G has 2 speeds. I am Israel High, or Islava Ukraine. He also said it cost us 3% of our budget to greatly weaken our adversary. Yes, he did. He openly stated, and alongside many other congresspersons, even on the Democratic Party side as well, that have said similar things, that Ukraine was a fantastic return on investment. For 5% of the military budget, we get to weaken our foreign adversaries' military by 50%. Some of those numbers are disputed. Without losing a single American soldier in the process. Everything's getting worse over and over. And it's always normal people that suffer. It's never going to be Lindsey Graham that suffers for this. Okay?
Fight the Russian invasion. Its people keep going through.
Vladimir Putin doesn't suffer from this. Lindsey Graham doesn't suffer from this. It's just regular ass Ukrainians that fucking want to live their day-to-day existence without fear of bombing campaigns that will suffer from this and will continue to suffer from this.
Military setbacks and persistent attacks. But they've yet to see whether Donald Trump's idea of a deal will be an acceptable compromise or surrender.
And let's go to Lindsay live now. Lindsay.
But this is why I also said that, like, I don't think Donald Trump is going to change trajectory on what would have happened if the Democrats assumed office in 2025 as well. Like, they are not, like, this doesn't, if Ukraine is forced to the table, it is a direct consequence of what happened on the battlefield, because of, most likely because of the fact that Daddy DeFranco, after this vid, please, I beg. Wait, what? Why? What is happening? What? Hey, at HasanAbi, are you going to ever address the relentless harassment you and your community unleashed on me for the last 6 months? What? Who are you? Hey, Hassan, you forgot to Zelle the money you owe me? What? What is going on today, man? Ay, ay, ay. Everybody stop adding this person. I just want to know what they're trying to say. But I have no idea what. Anyway. Hey, Hassan, are you going to ever address the relentless harassment towards your starving gaming chatters? I've been gaming nonstop for the past couple of days. Hassan, please don't pretend like you have no idea. This could have all been handled a long time ago. What? I can't tell if this person is memeing or if they're genuinely exhibiting, like, chatter. I do not know you. I have no idea who you are. You might have forgotten to take your medication. I mean this sincerely. I think you should. I can't tell if you're trolling or if you're just, like, having a hard time with what the truth is. I don't know what's going on, but I hope you get better. All right? I'm not trolling at all. Okay, then say what you think happened. But what would the truth be? What? I don't know. I have no idea who you are. You're a random chatter. I don't know what you think. I don't know what's going on in your head. Ban and move on. What are we doing here? I do want to understand where they're coming from so I can maybe be helpful. But I don't know if I'll be able to. Because, like, it seems like they've been chatting in the community infrequently. But I think that this is probably someone who thinks they're being gang stalked by me or something. I don't know. If you ever open my chat logs, I'm going to sue your ass. I don't think that they understand what is going on either. I think they're just prodding.
Krishnan, in the last couple of hours, the Ukrainian armed forces have said that not one but two Iskander ballistic missiles were fired at Odessa today. As we saw, one got through, injuring 11 people. The other one was shot down. At the same time, we're seeing diplomatic moves. The British have announced sanctions on a further 30 ships of what they call the Russian Shadow Fleet. That's taking Russian oil around the world in a way that can't be tracked or is very difficult to track. Mark Rutte, he's the new NATO Secretary General. He was meeting President Erdogan of Turkey today to discuss how to end the war. Erdogan is very important. And tomorrow,
she said it. Erdogan is very important.
Meeting of NATO and Ukraine. Everybody trying to maneuver before President Trump gets into power and does, we don't know what.
Oh, here's Joe Rogan's controversy. He found himself in hot water. Let's see.
Now, and that's L.A., and that's New York, and that's a lot of places that got fucked up by incompetent people.
I don't know. I just feel safer knowing, like...
Pull this microphone with your face.
I feel safer knowing that Trump is in office.
I do, too.
Dude, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
I feel great about it. Like, I just like...
What I don't feel safer is right now they're launching missiles into Russia.
Yeah.
How are you allowed to do that when you're on the way out? Like, the people don't want you to be there anymore. There should be like some sort of a pause for like significant actions that could potentially start World War III.
Someone in the chat saying he's the producer of Lean Back. His name is Scott Storch. He's a famous legendary music producer. Okay. Glad that, you know, we got the top intellectual minds on this case. They're gonna fix the Russia situation.
Maybe that would be a good thing that we would like to avoid from a dying former president. It's the whole thing is nuts.
I mean, look, I don't know shit about politics.
Zelensky says Putin is terrified. Fuck you, man. Fuck you people. You fucking people are about to start World War III.
Like, people say I'm pro-Russia for my criticisms of like some of the actions that Ukraine has taken on in this process, but like, fuck you mean? Like, what are they supposed to do, brother? What the fuck? Like, he's not wrong. No, I think once again, this is entirely in the hands of the United States. But of course, never Americans who are jingoistic and Western chauvinists always discount America's influence in this process. Okay? They'll only do it when they're doing it on like partisan lines, to turn around and say like, oh, Biden is such a fucking old dumbass for doing this. Like, fuck you people. When they're talking about like Ukrainians. Listen, Ukrainians understandably have a right not only to defend themselves, but to rid their borders of a Russian invasion. Okay? But if the situation on the ground is untenable, the way I analyze everything is how like America's actions in this process, allowing Ukraine to strike into Russian territory, for example, will this actually de-escalate? Will this actually be able to give Ukraine more of an opportunity to push back the Russian annexation, or will it not? I don't think it's I don't think it's the Ukrainian people's fault, man. I feel like there's a more responsible party here, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Russia fired a missile today.
They fired an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time ever. It's the first time one of those has ever been used.
That's insanity.
It's fucking insanity, because those intercontinental ballistic missiles can have nukes on them. This one didn't, but if it does, the whole world changes. And it changes because of the military-industrial complex, and it changes because of the money that's going to Ukraine, and it changes because the outgoing president or whoever the fuck is actually running the country has decided to do something fucking insane.
Yeah,
fucking insane. And we're all sitting there watching it, and people are cheering it on. CNN was saying...
Is it possible that you can talk about Romania's heading candidate, which is pro-Russia and anti-Semite, plus supports legionary movement? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on in Romania, but we'll dive into it in a little bit.
And like, finally, see what their headline was about Zelensky about Biden giving Zelensky the ability to use long-range missiles. U.S. made long-range. It's not like nobody knows where they came from. It's not like nobody knows we've been funding this. It's a proxy war. The whole thing is fucking insane. It's insane. Come to the negotiation table. Sit down. Work this out. Stop killing everybody.
Yeah, I think the real responsible party that is Zelensky internally has obviously internal pressure from people to the right of him that want him to never entertain any sort of ceasefire prospect. Okay? But if America was like, hey, we got to pack this shit up because Donald Trump is going to be significantly more devastating, then Zelensky, alongside China and Russia, would come to the ceasefire negotiation, would come to the table to broker some kind of agreement. The issue still, I think, the problem still here is America's involvement. That they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about Ukrainian emancipation. They don't give a shit about like Ukrainians not dying. And I'm willing to bet that they don't even care if Ukraine gets fucking nuked. That's a dangerous prospect. It's something that I noticed early on when, like I said, John Kirby very clearly was like, yeah, if they use a nuke, it's going to be a baby nuke. Wait, what? You're a horrible person. Fuck you. That's all they said? I unbanned them. I don't think this person is going to actually respond with what, took place in their minds at least. That's crazy. Why'd you ban? I unbanned them because I want to see what the fuck they have to say so that I can be helpful. But I think the mods did the right thing by banning them specifically because they're not helping themselves. I think they're just mentally ill. They banned them because they don't want that person to that person that's probably going through a mental health episode to say stuff that puts them in the crosshairs unfairly.
U.S. allows Ukraine to use long-range missiles. So what did they say? Someone had said that, like, CNN was saying that it was a good thing, which I think is how? How has the left gone so far crazy that they think it's a good thing to launch missiles? That's what's scary about life is, like, you don't want to pay attention to that shit. You just want to live your life. You want to just be carefree.
Several officials even suggested that Mr. Biden could return nuclear weapons to Ukraine. So U.S. and European officials are discussing deterrence as a possible security guarantee for Ukraine, such as stockpiling a conventional arsenal sufficient to strike a punishing blow if Russia violates a ceasefire. Several officials even suggested that Mr. Biden could return nuclear weapons to Ukraine that were taken from it after the fall of the Soviet Union. That would be an instant and enormous deterrent, but such a step would be complicated and have serious implications. Good Lord. I mean, it's the HasanAbi doctrine. Holy moly. What a terrifying prospect for the future. Ukraine's going to be like, yeah, we're going to give nuclear weapons to Cuba after this. I feel like this might not be the best time to offer Ukraine nuclear weapons, but I don't know. You know, when you got a third of the country under permanent annexation by Russian forces.
Free and have fun and do the thing that you're passionate about. And meanwhile, the world is burning. And
you
just
can't do
hoping
anything
it doesn't
about it.
get
It's
to
like
you.
at that high level, it's like there's nothing.
Well, we can. We voted Trump in, and
Yeah,
his idea is to stop all this shit, and hopefully he can do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, man, fuck. We got 60 more days until Trump gets in or whatever it is. How many days is it, Jamie? But who knows? Maybe once he gets in, they'll ramp it up. Who knows? Maybe they'll sabotage his administration. That's what's even more scary.
Yeah. They'll sabotage his administration. Yeah. Like Trump is Mr. Peace. He's Mr. Peace, and they're just gonna sabotage his best interest here.
People don't want him in power. And the people that are in power don't want to leave power, and they'll try every way they can to keep it. 60 days from today. All right.
On the news.
60 days.
Just keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. Just hope Putin understands what's going on as well, and Zelensky doesn't do anything stupid. But saying that Putin's terrified, God damn it.
It's like you're trying to, like, tug the tail of a fucking sleeping
dragon.
Dragons.
Yeah. Also, Zelensky, can I get a drug test?
Wait, what? I think Klitschko, didn't he? Oh, here it is. Vladimir Klitschko calls Joe a Putin apologist over Ukraine comments.
I listened to your latest podcast. I'm sending you this video to let you know that I disagree.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. It's so funny that everyone is right-wing. Like, virtually every side of this is just like right-wing guys yelling at one another. Every corner of the planet is just like filled to the brim with reactionary people. And now they've gotten so much power and they're fighting amongst themselves that they're like eating each other as well. It's so funny.
Talk about these American weapons.
Like, dude's rocking a 9-line shirt and everything. Like, he's just, oh my God.
Being sent to Ukraine, which you believe will lead to the Third World War. So, let me tell you that you're repeating Russian propaganda. Putin's Russia is in trouble, so they want to scare you and people like you. His war was supposed to last 3 days. It has lasted 3 years, thanks to the heroism and sacrifice of us Ukrainians. So you're using the only weapon that Putin really intends to use, propaganda. And this weapon really weakens our democracies. Putin's Russia wants to destroy Ukraine quietly. They want America to stay quiet, not great, but quiet. A great America is not an America that abandons countries that defend freedom with their lives. In short, you see, I have quite a few points of difference.
I mean, Russia probably pays Joe. No, dude, he's just a fucking run-of-the-mill dumbass. Like, I think Joe, when he talks about the way he's talking about it is like definitely more spicy than the average person. But I think the average American is just like, why the fuck are we giving Ukraine money? Why are we just giving them weapons and now Russia's going to use a nuke? This sucks. Fix the fucking potholes. Americans will vote for a fascist if they believe that the fascist is going to fucking literally reduce the price of eggs, okay? A guy that says that they're going to deport 20 million people. They don't give a shit. So for them, for most Americans,